Yeah, Kurt Nemo's article's got that in there. Chavez and the Russian fleet used earthquake weapon on Haiti. That's what Chavez said. We did cover it last week. And he says that the Russian government gave him information to prove it. And then it gets into later how the Pentagon the day before was already getting ready for the relief operation. That is pretty ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And here's another one that we covered last week. Averting disaster. Calamities like Haiti quake aren't just predictable, they're preventable. And then it gets into all that information. And I believe Watson wrote a story on that, too. Another story written by Kurt Nemo. And I actually want to get him to add a clip from martial law. It's a 2-hour, 45-minute film. And the last 45 minutes are about how the United States and England were the main funders of the Nazis. And the Nazis had a secret treaty with England to be able to attack Czechoslovakia and Poland. Then some type of double cross happened. The King of England, Edward VIII, had to advocate. The media always says because he wanted to marry an American woman. No, because he was running around heiling Hitler and hanging out in Germany. So the point is, Oliver Stone says banksters enabled Hitler and the Nazis. Filmmaker Oliver Stone has told the Canadian press that international bankers enabled Hitler and the Nazis. Adolf Hitler was a psychopath and a monster, but rose to power thanks to big business leaders and other supporters who have appreciated his vow to destroy communism and control workers. Hollywood filmmaker Oliver Stone said on Monday in Bangkok, Thailand. But then we have a link in here to Anthony Sutton, the 5 parts of Dr. Stan Monteith, interviewing him more than 20 years ago. Mr. Sutton's dead now. And he worked for the Brookings Institute. He worked for Congress. And he was tasked at Stanford to research the big foundations and big money, and really dug out a lot of the original research on that, so you can watch those videos. In fact, I'm tempted, remind me near the end of the show, to play about 10 minutes of the opening interview with Anthony Sutton. Okay, what I'm going to do is, yeah, my other point about Stone. Again, he doesn't even talk about how simultaneously, to destroy free societies, the big British and U.S. banks predominantly funded the Bolsheviks and the Nazis, and, of course, the fascists originating the Nazi movement, or what became the Nazi movement in Italy, under Benito Mussolini, who'd been a communist, leftist, then became a fascist. Same thing with Hitler. Adolf Alois Hitler, National Socialist. And the Nazis always send me emails and go, he wasn't a communist, he was fighting communism. Later, after the Russian-German split happened, and yeah, he did fight communists for power in the streets of Germany. But this is all part of the larger great game that Dr. Carol Quigley wrote about in Tragedy and Hope, how the elites want to deal with dictators and thugs and centralized systems. They'll use the right, they'll use the left. They're total opportunists. It's piracy. It's fraud. It's theft. It's war. It's not fascist. It's not communist. It's not Nazi. It's not Catholic. It's not Jewish. It's not Scientologist. It's not Masons, though all of those major powerful groups are allied with the New World Order now. They've all been taken over or were with it from the start. So it's all these major ideologies seek to centralize control, and then society thinks they're going to choose what group they're part of, whether it's racially or religious or history or geography, and it doesn't matter because the elite give you all of these fake choices. They lay out all these different choices in front of you that are really false choices. Now, again, I have 3 other big stacks of news, but I want to continue with your phone calls here right now. Continue with the News Blitz coming up here when we start the next hour. Let's go ahead And let's speak to Kevin in California. Kevin, you're on the air.
Thank you, Alex, for taking my call. First-time caller. I got two things for you. One is a message for all the people in Texas. Whatever you do, do not make a mistake and vote against Deborah Medina. You need Deborah Medina as your governor. Put her in the Texas governor's mansion.
Well, Deborah's on tomorrow. Go ahead.
My second thing is, Alex, I was going to ask you, are you familiar with the 7 secret rulers of the world and who they really are? Do you have a list? Has that been exposed, or is there any way of telling the public who it is?
Well, I only go off what I can confirm, and the different managing roundtable groups, Bilderberg, Club of Rome, then the regional roundtable subdirectorates like the CFR, Royal Institute of International Affairs. But it is rumored, and a lot of top sources say that they have sources, and the people I tend to respect, that there is then a Council of 30, a Council of 13, and then I've seen the Council of 7. But what we've been able to confirm from high-level former CIA people and others, with Colonel Craig Roberts and others who's talked to these people, and I believe it when he says it, he doesn't make stuff up. And I've also seen that from other researchers that there is that it doesn't get smaller than a Council of 13. It's a Council of 13. But I mean, would you like to elaborate, or do you have any points?
Yes, I do. I got this website that my friend sent me last night, and it's got on here. It's called the skepticwiki.org, and it comes up with the NWO New World Order chart. Do you know about that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of charts. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing it, but just because somebody makes a chart, I could make a chart with Donald Duck at the top of it. I mean, who does it say?
Okay, I'll give you the companies, and you tell me if you think they're legit. Disney Company, Kraft Foods, the Rand Corporation, Oprah Winfrey, Walmart, Noam Chomsky, and the other one is the General Dynamics.
I think that's a joke website. I mean, that's like Mike Myers saying it's run by Colonel Sanders. I mean, they're saying those are the rulers of the world.
That's what the one says. But Alex, I got documentation for you that I work for Walgreens.
You got Walgreens. Okay, separate issue. Go ahead.
I work for Walgreens, and we've never seen the owner to this day, and it's a pharmaceutical. I'm positive our owner's on that list. I'm positive.
Okay, look, I appreciate your call, sir. Send me the information, okay? Oprah Winfrey is not on the secret Council of 7. We don't even know if there's a Council of 7. We know there's a Council of 13, okay? Oprah Winfrey has been invited to top eugenics secret conferences at the Rockefeller University. That's been in the Times of London to discuss forced population reduction, and she is as big as it gets in media, the biggest thing out there, because she can manipulate women. She's there to control women with kind of a new age type agenda that feeds into their whole plan. But and some of the other names on there, if you want to know who some of the most powerful people in the world are, it is the British House of Rothschild, and then there's the French House. They're very powerful, but not as powerful as the British. That's the head house. There's the Italian House. There's the German House. There are the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas, who are intermarried with a bunch of families, and intermarried with the Rothschilds as well. That's as high as it gets, the Rothschilds and the House of Gotha, Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. And they've knocked off the Habsburgs and many other royal families that they were cousins with. The Tsars were their cousins. They knocked them off. So really the last man standing with empires and imperial leadership are the British and the Japanese. But the Japanese factor in at a lower rung. And the Japanese royalty does swear fealty. I've even seen the ritual at the Tower of London, where all the royalty of the world comes and swears allegiance to the Queen. And then, of course, the Rockefellers are right up there at the very top. The superstars of the New World Order are the super gophers, the men given the power. In Roman times, they would call it a legate. and there might be as many as 10. And every major country under the Roman Empire, whether it was Egypt, or whether it was Greece, or whether it was Judea, or whether it was Germania, or Albion, Britain today, they would have legates who would travel between the places to speak with the imperial seal and to speak as the emperor.